Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about what is a W-9 and how to fill one out. So if you have never done that before, it might mean because either you have never needed to because you don't own a business, or maybe you're a new business owner and somebody has asked you to prepare a W-9 for them and you might be like, what is a W-9? And then you're Googling and then you found me. So if that's the case, I'm happy to have you here. Please take a look at what we have here at the channel. I would love to have you as a subscriber. If you're a new small business owner, we have a ton of resources for new small business owners, and we will put some of those resources after this video and also in the description box below. So if you have never done a W-9 before and this is all kind of new, we have a lot of other resources for you as well. But this channel is really all about helping understand, demystify, clarify things that are related to finance and accounting that can be a little bit overwhelming as a small business owner. And so we're trying to help make all of that clearer and easier for you guys. So hopefully you can just figure out how to make a lot of money and be successful in your small business. So yeah, if that sounds good, please stay tuned. Before we really get started here, I wanted to thank today's sponsor, that is Relay. Relay is a business banking solution built specifically for small businesses and everything that they need to run their business and have really great cash flow management. So whether you are new to business or you have an existing business, what you'll find is that having a really great banking partner is going to make all the difference for you in your business. I really love Relay because you can go and set up new accounts super quickly. They are a Profit First certified bank. So if you're looking for that, they have lots of tools that will help you manage your cash flow in the Profit First kind of way. So that's something to look at. And then they also have the ability to have virtual debit cards, physical debit cards. You can write checks. You can do everything that you would normally do at a physical bank, but this is a online banking solution. So Relay is built basically a fintech product on top of an underlying bank called Thread Bank. And so that is the funding mechanism underneath it. And then Relay has all the technology to really help you manage that money and to be able to help you understand it and be able to transform your business with the banking tools that they have. So I really love Relay, and that's why we've partnered with them. So if you want to go and check out Relay, I'm using it for my new business, so more videos on that in the future. But if you want to check out Relay, you can go to claracfo.com/relay. And very importantly, they are giving $100 to people who are watching the Clara CFO group channel. They're giving $100 for anyone who signs up and deposits at least $100 into their new account. They will match that first $100. Well, let's go ahead and talk about W-9s and why somebody would be asking you for one. So what a W-9 form is, it's an IRS tax form, and it's called a Request for Taxpayer and Identification Number and Certification. Okay, so the most common use for a W-9 is when a service provider does work for somebody else, then that customer is often going to ask you for a W-9 because they have to keep track for their tax records of who they've paid during the year. And so what that means is that if I go and do work for somebody, that they have to report to the IRS and a 1099 for me potentially. And so what they need to know is they need to know, am I a corporation? What is my tax ID number? And what is my address to be able to send that paper document? And then I would receive that 1099 and I would have it. I've also seen a W-9 in other situations. Sometimes when it's not even business related, it might just be person to person, where maybe a accountant needs your tax information, or maybe a mortgage company or something might need it. If that's the case, they would send you a W-9, and then you are putting in your information as you know to be correct, and then they can go and use that information because you've given it to them. So we highly recommend that every business who transacts business has a W-9 ready to go. So when somebody asks a W-9, you have it and you don't have to scramble for it. And then usually the form doesn't have a lot of updates, unlike different, the 1040 tax form is updated every single year. This one is sometimes not updated every single year. So you can always check to see at the bottom of the tax form, and I'll show you guys when I do a screen share here in a second, second, when that version of the form was done. Sometimes people want you to, have the most current version, even if it is all the same information. So you can keep track of that. But let me go ahead and hop into a screen share and I will show you what the W-9 form looks like. And we're actually going to fill it out for my new business because I need to do this to send it to somebody who's asked for my W-9. Okay. So here we are in the W-9 form. And actually there's up here, it says revised March 24th up at the top left-hand corner. Also at the bottom of the tax form and the bottom right corner is usually also that revision number as well. So very simple, a one-page document. This one has all the instructions here too, so you're always welcome to go and do that, but basically I'm going to help you out here. Sometimes the instructions can be helpful if you have like a specific question, a little more nuanced question, that it goes into greater detail. But I'm going to go ahead and fill this out for my business. I will blur out anything that is sensitive so you guys aren't seeing that, but I will talk through this here. So the first is the name of the entity or individual. An entry is required. For sole proprietors or disregarded entities, enter the owner's name on line 1 and then the business name on line 2. So a disregarded entity is a LLC, potentially that's being taxed as a sole proprietor. So that's what I am. I have not set up my LLC to be taxed as an S corporation. I might never transition into that. It kind of depends on tax planning and if that makes sense from a financial perspective. But currently, I would just put in my name here, and then I'm going to put in my business name here. Okay. And then now if you are not a disregarded entity, your business name could go on that top line. Okay. So now we check the box for our federal tax classification for the entity or individual whose name is entered on line 1. Check only one of the following 7 boxes. So this is where it can get confusing where you're like, I'm an LLC, but I'm taxed as a sole proprietor. I'm an LLC, but I'm taxed as an S corporation. This is where your legal entity type and your tax entity type can be 2 separate things. So this is specifically asking for how you are taxed. Okay, so I am taxed as an individual sole proprietor, so I'm going to check that box. My Clara CFO business is actually an LLC and it's taxed as an S corporation. So I would put the LLC, and then if you're taxed as a C Corp, S Corp, or partnership, you would put that here. But that's not this business. So I'm going to go back and make sure that that is checked correctly to say individual sole proprietor. Okay. And then number 4 over here is exemptions. I don't have any exemptions. If you want to read the instructions, you can go and see if you think that you might be eligible for some kind of exemptions. And then let's go here down to 3B. I think I skipped that one first. So if on line 3A, you checked partnership or trust or estate or checked LLC and entered P as its tax classification, and you are providing this form to a partnership, trust, or estate in which you have an ownership interest, check this box if you have any foreign partners, owners, or beneficiaries. And then you would check that if there's foreign. Okay, and then very simple. I'm going to go ahead and put in my address. And this is the address that would be the legal address for the entity. And then it says requester's name and address. If you're doing a very specific W-9 for a specific person, you can put their information here. I generally don't do that. I would just do one general W-9, leave this blank, and just send this to anybody that asks. This is optional, and it is marked as optional, so you don't have to fill that out if you don't want to. I think it's much easier to have just a general one that goes out to everybody. I don't want to customize this for everybody who needs it. And then it says list account numbers here. This is also optional, and that is not applicable for me. So then we're going to go to a taxpayer identification number. So this is where it's very helpful if you have an EIN, an employer identification number, because if I was just having to give my social security number out to people because I'm operating as a sole proprietor, that would be not great for my own security. I would like to not have that number just being given to any vendor who I've worked for. So I have set up an EIN for my new company. So I'm going to type that in here. And remember that as a business, you can go and set up an EIN even if you have no intention of actually having employees. You can still set up an EIN number to kind of have that separation between your social security number and your business. So just something to think about, okay? But I'm gonna go ahead and put in my EIN number. Okay, that has been entered. I'm double checking along the way. I'm double checking the address. I'm double checking the EIN number. You do not want to have that information incorrect, because that would mean that your EIN does not get associated to your business, or the 1099 that gets issued to you is not associated to your business, and that would be very bad, or potentially even sent to the wrong place if the address is wrong. So you really need to double check, make sure everything is accurate before you send this over to anybody. So now we're going to go to part 3 here, the certification. This is just where you are signing under penalties of perjury that the number shown on the form is the correct taxpayer identification number, and that you are not subject to any backup withholding because you are exempt, blah, blah, blah. You are certifying that you are a U.S. citizen or other U.S. person, and that the FATCA codes entered on this form indicating that I'm exempt from FATCA reporting is correct. Okay, so there's always going to be these types of certifications basically saying, are you sure that this is correct? And, going forth from there. So that is the W-9 form. It's really pretty simple to fill out. The signature here, I would actually print this out, sign a wet signature, and then scan it and have it available in a PDF version available to send to anybody who needs it. So I print it, sign, date, and then it's good to go. And I can use that until there is a revised version of the form, or if anything changes, you can just use the W-9 continually from there. All right, well, it's pretty simple. The W-9 form is very simple. It is a way for you to give your taxpayer information to somebody who needs it to do an information reporting, or to do some kind of other reason that they should be asking for your taxpayer ID. Now, do not give this to anybody that you don't know why they're asking for it. Somebody could send you and say, hey, I need your W-9, but if you've never worked with them, why would they need your information? And if you're not doing anything like getting a mortgage or adopting a child, or whatever some other kind of personal matter might be, you probably don't need that information. So be very careful about who you give your taxpayer information to, but this is how you do it formally so that they have all the information they need. Well, happy 1099, happy W-9 season, because this is a busy time where you're probably going to be getting requests for it. So hope that helps, and let me know if you have any questions in the comment section below. All right, thanks guys, bye.